Okay, so presumably if you're watching this video and if you're looking at videos like this, you're probably in the market for a home. So I want to get into some of the things that are very important for you to keep in mind and maybe keep on the forefront of your thought process when you are looking for a home. Before you actually contact a realtor or you actually start looking for homes, it's really important to kind of come up with a list of things that you really want, maybe a minimum and a maximum of the size of the house or the amount of bedrooms or bathrooms. And also, it's important to know what you're looking for when you go out looking. If you know what you're looking for and if you have a criteria in mind, it makes it much easier and you're much more likely to have success when you're out looking for homes. It's going to be a lot less frustrating as well. That's one of the things that people hate about shopping for houses is it's very frustrating when you don't have a plan. So I want to go into some of the things that you should be thinking about before you go out and start actively looking for homes. So if this kind of stuff interests you, if this topic seems interesting, please like and subscribe to our channel. It helps us out and we're going to get that new content in front of you. We go into topics that have to do with real estate and the Boise Treasure Valley area all the time. So if you have any interest in that kind of stuff, like and subscribe. Otherwise, let's get into this video. Let's get into the top 10 things that you want to keep in mind while you're looking for a home. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the house size. What's the square footage? What is the interior living space of the home? A lot of people, especially people who are not experienced at looking for homes, are always thinking bigger is better. It doesn't always translate to that. So one of the things that you want to keep in mind is the bigger the house, the more area there is to keep clean. The more furniture you're going to have to buy, the more wall space you're going to have to decorate, so on and so forth. The more area you're going to have to heat and cool. So these are all things that I didn't really consider when I bought my first home. I bought a 3,400 square foot home and I was absolutely shocked at how hard it was to furnish the home coming from a smaller rental house of about 1,400 square feet and moving into a 3,400 square foot home with 2 stories. It was a lot of furniture and a lot of wall space to cover. And when you're decorating a house and you're putting furniture in, you don't necessarily just want to fill it up. You want to actually do it right. You want to decorate it. You want to have everything match, and that costs a lot of money. So you want to kind of keep in mind your budget when you're getting a home size. When you have high ceilings, that's another expense if you have to heat and cool it. So there's just more airspace, more volume for you to have to fill up with furniture and also fill up with heat or cooling, that kind of thing. Okay, so if you're buying a used home, something that's not brand new, maybe something that's older than 10 years especially, you want to pay special attention to the roof. You want to look at the siding, the exterior of the home. You want to look at the basically just all around the outside of the home, underneath the home, that kind of thing. You want to see if there's been any reason that it's been neglected. Maybe there's been rats or maybe there's some kind of infestation of some kind, like termites or something. So these are things that you really want to check for. You want to check for leaks. You want to see if there's any water damage that may have been repaired, but maybe it wasn't repaired correctly. Pay attention to the smells. See if there's any mold smell, anything like that. If you're not comfortable with looking at the roof, looking under the house, looking at the HVAC, for instance, that kind of thing, if you're not comfortable crawling under a house or going in the attic, you really should get a home inspection. That's going to help you out tremendously. That kind of stuff will help you out when you're looking at a used house. The third thing is the yard. So everybody thinks they want a big yard. Everyone looks at movies of these big houses and everyone having a great time in their big yard. Not everybody is actually up to the challenge of keeping and maintaining and paying for a large yard. So a lot of people get a really big yard and they want to get like this landscaping with grass and bushes and they want to have all these things nice and beautiful. But what they don't take into consideration is how much work and how much money it is to maintain that. So if you're the kind of person that has a green thumb and that's your passion and you like to spend your days off out in the yard, kind of trimming things and mowing the lawn and planting things and kind of doing gardening and whatnot, then a bigger yard may be right up your alley. But if you're not prepared to spend the actual time on it, or you don't want to spend the money on a professional gardener, you should probably think about getting something smaller and low maintenance. So number 4 is going to be the bedrooms. So not just the amount of bedrooms, like a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, but also how big are the bedrooms? Are they going to be adequate for what you need? So that's something to consider, is kind of getting a minimum size for your spare bedrooms, maybe a minimum size that you want for the master bedroom. Kind of measure your furniture if you already have furniture. Make sure that you kind of know what you're looking for, because that'll help you narrow it down. It'll kind of help you save some time. Also, just the amount of bedrooms. So do I need a 3-bedroom? Do I have a baby on the way? Do we want to have kids in the future? That kind of thing. So make sure that you've talked to your significant other, written down kind of a minimum and maybe a maximum of bedrooms, because more is not necessarily better. Okay, so bathrooms. Bathrooms are a big deal. A lot of people don't really think about the bathrooms so much. Like, oh, as long as it has a couple bathrooms, that's fine. But when you actually start living in the house, you realize maybe 2 isn't enough, or maybe 3 isn't enough, or maybe 5 is too many. I don't like cleaning all these bathrooms. I don't use 2 of them, So you want to make sure that the amount of bathrooms is sufficient. The other thing is, bathrooms have water running through them. A lot of places too. They have multiple sinks sometimes. They have a bathtub sometimes, a shower. So you want to make sure that the bathroom has been well maintained. There's no issues where leaks have been kind of covered up. Make sure there's not corrosion on the fixtures. Make sure that the valves open and close under the sink and there's not corrosion stopping that from happening. There wasn't maybe a leak in the past and they kind of cleaned it up and there's mold growing, that kind of thing. Make sure the toilets function properly. Make sure the flooring hadn't had a leak underneath the floor and maybe it's creaking and it's going to start peeling up, that kind of thing. Pay special attention to the bathrooms. There's a lot of areas where it could actually cost you a lot of money if you don't pay close enough attention to the bathrooms, because of the amount of water that actually runs through the bathroom. And so the next one is going to be the living room. Do you want a wood-burning fireplace? Do you want a gas-burning fireplace? Do you care if there's a fireplace? Some people don't even think about that kind of stuff. The layout of the living room is important as well. Where's the couch going to go? Is the couch going to be in the middle of the room facing the wall where the TV is? Are you going to have the furniture on each side of it? Are there 3 walls so you can put a big wraparound cozy couch? These are all things that you should keep in mind, especially if you already have furniture and you want that furniture to work in the house. These are things to consider. You want to make sure the living room suits you. If you want something really cozy, or if you want something more modern feeling, something that flows, maybe something that has entry points on either side instead of just one entry point, one exit, that kind of thing. So these are things to keep in mind. So maybe pay attention to the living room, maybe in relation to the kitchen, that kind of thing, and see if it's something that's going to work for you, and make sure that it's something that actually fits with your lifestyle and what you're looking for. Okay, and number 7 on the list is going to be the HVAC system. A lot of people don't really think about the HVAC until you actually live there. So it's important to think about that beforehand. Does it have forced air? Does it have enough air conditioning for the temperature of the climate where you're moving to? Something to consider when you're moving to, say, my area, which is the Boise, Treasure Valley area. It's gotten really warm lately. The summers have gotten warmer. They've gotten longer period of times. It used to be that there was only really 100-degree temperatures for like 3 weeks to a month. Now the last 2 summers, it's been about 2 to 3 months of straight 100-degree weather. And so a lot of homes don't have the AC system that's needed for that kind of climate. So it's important to realize where you're moving to and check and see, is there enough cooling, or is there enough heating for the climate that we're in? Does it work properly? Maybe have it inspected, see how old it is, and if it's more than 20 years old, it might be a good idea to either think about getting it replaced soon and kind of keep that in your budget. So definitely look at the HVAC system, make sure that it functions properly, have it tested by a qualified professional, make sure the flow is proper in each room, and then make sure that it's not going to cost you a bunch of money in the future unless you're prepared for that. And the next thing, number 8 on the list, is going to be the basement or the crawl space. So in my house specifically, I have a crawl space. I don't have a basement, but it would be an excellent idea if you were buying a house that was a little bit older, that wasn't just brand new build. Make sure that there wasn't some kind of a leak, or there isn't some leak, or there's not animals living under the house, that kind of thing. Make sure there's no mold or any kind of issues in the basement or under the house. Even if you're buying a brand new house, you still want to go under the house and check. A lot of times the plumbing isn't done properly, or there's something that's not glued together right, or maybe something got bumped when someone was crawling underneath it to do something else and they didn't notice it. Maybe the plumbing got hit or something like that. So you want to make sure that the plumbing and all the electrical or whatever's going on there is nice and tight and neat. Make sure there's no issues with leak or mold, that kind of thing. So definitely looking in the basement or under the house is definitely something you're going to want to take into consideration. All right, and number 9 on the list is going to be the attic. People don't like talking about the attic. Nobody wants to go up in the attic. It's freezing cold in the winter and it's really hot in the summertime. Anybody who's ever been in an attic in the summertime knows it can get, especially in like my area, it can get above 170 degrees in the attic sometimes on a hot day. So you just want to make sure you plan the time when you go up in the attic, if you're going to do that, to the morning. If it's the winter time, just wear nice thick clothing, that kind of thing. But definitely get up in the attic. Make sure that there's no issues. Make sure there's no rodents. Make sure there's no mold. There's no leaks, that kind of thing. Same thing with under the house. So you want to do that. Definitely see if there's any leaks from the roof. See if there's anything that could present a problem in the future. Maybe somebody went up there and messed around and did some stuff they shouldn't have done. All right, and the final thing, the 10th thing on the list, is going to be the garage. You need to kind of figure this out. This is kind of like the same thing with the square footage of the house, the bedrooms, the bathrooms. Make sure the garage is adequate for what you need. Make sure if you have 3 vehicles and you want all 3 vehicles to be parked in the garage, make sure that your truck can fit in there. Make sure that all your cars can fit. And then also make sure there's some storage space. Maybe there's some room for a workbench, that kind of thing. So it's important to know your situation, what you're looking for before you start looking. Kind of a minimum size of a garage, maybe a minimum amount of space, a minimum amount of garage doors so that you know all your vehicles can fit, and you have space for all your cool stuff like your bicycles and your tools and that kind of thing. So the garage is definitely an important place to look. Maybe see if there's anything else that has to go in the garage, like laundry, that kind of thing. Maybe you don't want to have laundry outside if it's freezing cold in the winter or it's really hot in the summer. You don't want to be out in the garage doing laundry. You want to make sure that there's an actual laundry room, that kind of thing. So definitely it's important to kind of figure out what the minimum criteria is for the garage so that you know what you're getting into and you don't waste your time looking at houses that don't fit your needs. Okay, so hopefully this inspires you to kind of sit down with your significant other if you have one and see if you guys have a must list of things that you have to have as far as minimums or maximums. And also hopefully it helps you think about things that maybe you weren't going to be focused on, because people get so excited when they go look at a new house and they really fall in love with it. They kind of forget the nuts and the bolts of what's going on. They forget about the logistics of actually looking at things that you're really going to regret later if you don't look into, such as the attic or the crawl space, things that people don't really think about because it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. People don't go up there usually, they don't think about it. So hopefully this helped you with that. If you have any questions for us, feel free to give me a call, or you can join us on our website and leave us a message, or you can leave us a comment in this video. And hopefully this helped you out. Hopefully this helped you, give you some ideas. If you need anything from us, let us know. Like and subscribe. And otherwise, good luck with your real estate endeavors, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks.